A policeman was killed. In his bathtub, what is his wife hiding? In a quiet neighborhood, a seemingly normal couple's life takes a dark and tragic turn. Daniel, a respected police officer, and Erica, a nurse, appeared to have it all, until their relationship fell into a spiral of jealousy, control, and violence. What began as a passionate love story quickly turned into a toxic and dangerous cycle that would lead to a shocking and tragic end. Today, we dive into the heartbreaking and unsettling story of Daniel and Erica. Stick around as we reveal the troubling events that unfolded, the shocking twists in their relationship, and the aftermath that left everyone questioning how far jealousy and fear can push someone. Don't forget to subscribe and like to stay updated on more gripping stories like this. On the quiet evening of February 6th, 2015, the serene atmosphere of a small home in Goshen, California was shattered by an unsettling discovery. Daniel Green, a respected law enforcement officer, was found dead in his bathroom. 4 gunshots ended his life, one piercing his forehead with chilling precision. Strangely, no one heard the shots. No neighbors reported anything suspicious, and no immediate clues were found to identify the perpetrator. It was a crime that seemed planned to perfection, leaving investigators puzzled. This was no ordinary tragedy. The scene suggested a calculated act carried out with cold determination. For a man who had dedicated over a decade of his life to serving and protecting his community, such a violent end was unthinkable. Questions arose. Who could harbor such hatred toward Daniel Green? The answers would reveal a web of complexity far darker and more personal than anyone imagined. Daniel Green had lived his entire 31 years in Goshen, a quaint town nestled among orchards. He was well regarded by his fellow officers and community members, having served in the California Police Department for 11 years. Known for his dedication and sense of duty, Daniel was the kind of officer who went above and beyond for the people he served. Yet, the same community that respected him was now gripped by fear and confusion over his untimely death. The discovery was made around noon on February 6th, when Daniel's colleagues, concerned by his absence from work, decided to check on him. What they found shook even the most hardened officers. Daniel's lifeless body lay on the bathroom floor, his back flat against the cold tiles. The house was eerily silent, with no signs of struggle or forced entry. There was no weapon, no fingerprints, and no DNA evidence, nothing to provide an immediate lead. It was as if the killer had vanished without a trace. Despite its small-town charm, Goshen had never been entirely immune to crime. But Daniel's death was different. His home, a place he once shared with his ex-wife, Erica Sandoval, had become the setting for an act of unspeakable cruelty. The irony of his death in a town built on mutual trust weighed heavily on everyone. How could such a horrific crime happen here? The investigation quickly turned its focus to Daniel's personal life, particularly his relationship with Erica Sandoval. Erica, a 27-year-old woman with whom Daniel had shared a turbulent marriage, had divorced him not long before his death. While their relationship had ended, the emotional scars seemed to linger. Could the key to solving the mystery lie in the shadows of Daniel's past? Investigators were about to uncover truths that would turn this seemingly straightforward case into a twisted tale of betrayal and revenge. The relationship between Daniel Green and his ex-wife, Erica Sandoval, was anything but simple, even after their divorce. Those close to Daniel knew that Erica struggled to let go of him and continued to interfere in his life. Despite the official split, she often attempted to control him, using emotional manipulation to stay connected. On February 6, 2015, Erica's presence at the crime. The death of Officer Daniel Green sent shockwaves through the Tulare County Sheriff's Department. Among his colleagues, speculation ran rampant. Was this heinous act tied to his work in law enforcement? Had Daniel made enemies while serving his community? Or was the motive personal, rooted in the tumultuous chapters of his private life? The unanswered questions only deepened the mystery, spurring investigators to work tirelessly to unravel the truth behind his tragic end. Daniel's death was not just a blow to his colleagues, it deeply affected his family. His twin siblings, Matthew and Misty, were devastated. Growing up in Porterville, a small California town, the 3 siblings shared a tight bond. From an early age, Matthew and Daniel shared a dream of pursuing careers in law enforcement. Matthew eventually transitioned to a career in law, But Daniel stayed on the force, dedicating himself fully to protecting his community. Misty, their sister, supported them both and took immense pride in their accomplishments. Outside of his role as a police officer, Daniel was known for his vibrant personality and his love for motorcycles. He was a member of a local motorcycle club where he found joy and camaraderie. The open road was his escape, a place where he could unwind and embrace the freedom of speed. Among his closest friends was James Bonds Downey, a fellow motorcycle enthusiast. The two often rode together, exploring the countryside and savoring the thrill of the ride. To those who knew him, Daniel's passion for motorcycles was a reflection of his adventurous spirit and zest for life. As investigators delved deeper into the case, they faced an uphill battle. They meticulously examined every aspect of Daniel's life, from his professional relationships. Her brother, David Sandoval, remembered how Erica was always treated as someone special. Spoiled and doted upon by her parents, Erica grew up with the belief that her desires should always be fulfilled. She was accustomed to being the center of attention and never having to compromise. This sense of entitlement followed her into adulthood, shaping her expectations in relationships. When challenges arose, Erica's response often mirrored the privilege and indulgence of her upbringing. In a surprising turn of events, Daniel and Erica secretly married in Las Vegas. The news stunned their family and friends. Daniel, then 26, and Erica, 23, tied the knot without informing anyone in advance. Late one night, Daniel's siblings received a photo of the marriage certificate, leaving them in disbelief. A few weeks later, the newlyweds hosted a small wedding celebration for their close friends and family. Erica wore a white dress, and Daniel donned a black suit, but even amidst the festivities, signs of trouble in their relationship began to emerge. Daniel's friends, including Herb Adams, a fellow motorcycle enthusiast, later recounted disturbing moments that foreshadowed deeper issues. Herb remembered Daniel confiding in him about an incident before their marriage when they had a heated argument. In a fit of rage, Erica grabbed a razor and slashed the furniture in Daniel's home. While Daniel laughed it off at the time, calling it a crazy moment, it was an early warning sign of the volatility that would plague their marriage. Despite the red flags, Daniel remained hopeful that they could make it work, not realizing the storm that lay ahead. For Daniel Green's close friends and family, the warning signs in his relationship with Erica Sandoval were deeply troubling. Herb Adams, one of Daniel's closest friends, believed that the early red flags, like the incident where Erica slashed his furniture, should not have been ignored. Matthew, Daniel's brother, personally saw the damage and expressed his concern. However, Daniel dismissed it as just an emotional outburst, unwilling to acknowledge the deeper issues. This pattern of conflict continued to escalate, and Matthew and their sister Misty would later witness one of the most heartbreaking moments in Daniel's life. During one particularly heated argument, Erica grabbed Daniel and shouted at him angrily. In the next room, Matthew and Misty overheard the confrontation. What shocked them most was hearing Daniel break down in tears. Matthew later described it as one of the most painful moments of his life, feeling powerless to help his brother. Despite their deep concern, intervening in Daniel and Erica's tumultuous relationship proved incredibly difficult. Daniel's pride and his belief that he could handle the situation kept him from seeking support. The Green siblings shared a bond forged in adversity. Growing up, they endured challenging circumstances under the roof of an abusive stepfather. Their stepfather had a criminal past, struggled with substance abuse, and frequently drank heavily. Matthew and Daniel, being older, often shielded their younger sister from the brunt of the abuse. Their mother eventually secured a restraining order, and shortly after, the stepfather passed away. These traumatic experiences left lasting scars on the Green family, shaping their resilience and protectiveness toward one another. For Daniel's family, Erica's behavior was disturbingly reminiscent of the control and aggression they had endured during their childhood. They noticed that Erica sought to dominate Daniel, isolating him from friends and family and frequently demeaning him. As a police officer, Daniel had encountered countless victims of domestic abuse, yet he struggled to see himself in the same light. Admitting that he was a victim was nearly impossible. Fear, shame, and the stigma of vulnerability weighed heavily on him, preventing him from seeking help. Domestic abuse often goes unreported, and Daniel's situation was no different. Like many men, he felt trapped by societal expectations that discouraged him from admitting to being in a toxic relationship. Despite his awareness of the dynamics at play, he couldn't bring himself to confront Erica or take steps to leave. He feared not only for his pride, but also for his career, knowing that any public scandal could jeopardize everything he had worked for. By February 2011, tensions between Daniel and Erica reached their breaking point. A neighbor witnessed During one particularly volatile incident, Daniel was forced to ask a neighbor to call emergency services to defuse the situation. The police arrived and arrested Erica. Despite the gravity of the episode, Daniel refused to press charges, and Erica was released shortly after. This marked a turning point for Daniel. He realized their relationship had become toxic beyond repair, and in January 2012, after just 1 year of marriage, he made the difficult decision to file for divorce. They moved apart, seemingly ending their tumultuous chapter together. A few months after their divorce, Erica confided in her friends that she was pregnant with Daniel's child. The news quickly reached Daniel, and despite their rocky history, he felt a renewed sense of responsibility and hope. He decided to give their relationship another chance, believing they could rebuild for the sake of their unborn child. The couple reconciled and moved back in together, much to the cautious optimism of Daniel's family. They hoped that the arrival of a baby would inspire lasting change and help them find harmony. Daniel was determined to create a stable and peaceful home, pouring his energy into preparing for fatherhood. However, the underlying issues that had plagued their relationship did not disappear. Erica often confided in her friend Angelica Ramirez, voicing her dissatisfaction with their relationship. She complained about Daniel's distant and cold demeanor, claiming that she felt neglected and unhappy. Angelica later recalled that Erica even accused Daniel of grabbing her by the neck during an argument, expressing fear that their volatile relationship could end in tragedy. While Erica portrayed herself as a victim to her friends, Daniel's family and close friends saw a different side of the story. They were well aware of Erica's aggressive tendencies and destructive behavior. She had a history of lashing out, slashing furniture, and damaging Daniel's property during arguments. These episodes highlighted her inability to manage her emotions and her tendency toward uncontrolled outbursts. Despite these alarming signs, neither Daniel nor Erica sought professional help to address their issues. As time went on, their relationship became increasingly strained. The conflicts escalated month by month, creating a toxic environment that neither could seem to escape. Friends and family noticed that Daniel and Erica were caught in a vicious cycle where periods of reconciliation were inevitably followed by more explosive fights. Both suffered in the relationship, yet neither seemed willing or able to make a definitive change. The tension in their household grew unbearable, and it became clear to those around them that their efforts to keep the family together were taking an emotional toll. While Daniel's family hoped he could find a way out, he appeared trapped by his sense of duty and hope for a better future. Erica, too, seemed torn between her frustrations and her desire to hold on to their fractured relationship. The unresolved tension between them would ultimately lay the foundation for even greater turmoil in the months to come. Both Daniel and Erica concealed the extent of their struggles, unwilling to seek help or involve others. Their relationship devolved into a pattern of mutual accusations and ongoing suffering. On January 5th, 2013, Erica gave birth to a son whom they named Aiden. For a brief moment, it seemed like their relationship was on the mend. Daniel was overjoyed at becoming a father, feeling as though Aiden's arrival had given his life new purpose. Determined to prioritize his family, he made the difficult decision to sell his beloved motorcycle. Though it was a painful choice, Daniel believed it was necessary for the safety and stability of his family. Daniel embraced fatherhood with enthusiasm, often sharing pictures of Aiden on social media. Those posts captured rare glimpses of happiness in his otherwise turbulent life. However, the peace was short-lived. Just 6 months later, the conflicts between Daniel and Erica resumed, escalating in frequency and intensity. Daniel eventually suggested that Erica move out, hoping to create space and reduce the tension. Erica agreed, but when she left, she took Aiden with her and completely severed contact with Daniel. The separation from his son plunged Daniel into a deep depression. Though he couldn't prove it, Daniel immediately suspected Erica. When he confronted her about the incident, Erica adamantly denied any involvement, insisting that she would never do something that could jeopardize his life. Despite his suspicions, Daniel chose not to report the incident to the police or share it with anyone else. He feared drawing attention to the situation or escalating the conflict further, opting instead to quietly move on. Erica had always disliked Daniel's passion for motorcycles, considering them dangerous and reckless. After every ride, their arguments over his hobby grew more heated. She frequently pressured him to give up riding altogether, which only fueled the tension between them. The incident with the cut brake wires became the tipping point, convincing Daniel that their relationship had become irreparably destructive. Despite recognizing how toxic their relationship had become, Daniel still tried to maintain control of the situation and minimize the damage. He hoped to avoid unnecessary drama for the sake of Aiden, but the mounting conflicts and unresolved issues left him feeling increasingly isolated. The once promising hope of starting over for their son's sake was now a distant memory, buried under layers of resentment and mistrust. After selling his motorcycle and celebrating the birth of his son, Daniel held on to the hope that his family might find peace and stability. However, the underlying tension and conflicts persisted. In the fall of 2014, an incident occurred that deeply unsettled Daniel and made him question his safety. One night, while Daniel and Erica were together, he woke up to find her standing over him, holding a gun. She told him she had just had a nightmare where he was unfaithful to her and said she wanted to end his life to spare herself the pain of betrayal. Daniel, caught off guard, remained calm and tried to de-escalate the situation. He reassured Erica that it was only a dream and swore he had never been unfaithful to her. After a tense moment, Erica appeared to relax and lowered the weapon. Though no physical harm came to him that night, Daniel was deeply shaken. It became clear to him that their relationship had escalated to a dangerous level. Confiding in his close friends, he admitted that it was time to end things for good. Despite this harrowing experience, the two came together again in January 2015 to celebrate their son Aiden's second birthday. The family gathering, meant for close relatives, appeared to be a cordial occasion. To the surprise of many, Daniel and Erica were seen chatting affectionately, and Daniel even kissed her on the cheek. Observers speculated that the couple might be rekindling their relationship. However, Daniel privately confided to friends that he had no intention of going back. He was determined to leave behind the endless cycle of arguments and emotional turmoil. Shortly after Aiden's birthday, Daniel revealed to friends and family that he was seeing someone new. His new girlfriend, 20-year-old Brenda Vila, brought a sense of hope and happiness back into his life. Daniel even posted a photo of the two of them on social media, sharing his joy with the world. Many who knew him believed that he was finally turning a page and moving toward a brighter, calmer future. But this brief glimpse of happiness was tragically cut short. On the morning of February 6, 2015, as planned, Daniel dropped Aiden off at Erica's house. From there, he went to the gym, sticking to his usual routine. After finishing his workout, he returned home. What happened next remains one of the darkest moments in the story of his life. Daniel entered his home and went into the bathroom. Moments later, he was ambushed and shot 4 times in the arm, chest, neck, and forehead. The attack was so swift and calculated that Daniel had no chance to defend himself. He was killed instantly, his life ending in the very place where he sought solace. The turbulent history between Daniel and Erica, filled with conflict and resentment, seemed to have reached a breaking point. Their text messages painted a grim picture of their relationship. Hundreds of messages revealed a pattern of aggression and mutual hostility. Daniel accused Erica of trying to take away the most important thing in his life, his son, Aiden. Erica, in turn, accused Daniel of selfishness and being an unfit father. These unresolved tensions and bitter exchanges left behind a trail of unanswered questions and painful memories. The arguments between Daniel and Erica spanned everything from parenting disagreements to deeply personal attacks. Their conflicts rarely led to any meaningful resolution, and the hostility only escalated over time. Then, surprisingly, there appeared to be a reconciliation. Friends and family were puzzled as to why they had begun spending time together again. On the surface, it seemed as though they might be attempting to mend their relationship and find common ground. For a brief period, the argument subsided, and it looked as if Daniel and Erica had achieved a fragile harmony. However, this peace proved to be an illusion. It wasn't long before their old patterns resurfaced, and the familiar cycle of conflict and bitterness took hold again. Erica's behavior grew increasingly unpredictable, and the tension between them remained palpable. The day after Daniel's death, Erica was brought in for questioning. She firmly denied having been to Daniel's house for weeks and insisted she had no involvement in the tragedy. But investigators had a strategy to put pressure on her. They claimed to have surveillance footage from a neighboring home that showed her entering Daniel's house on the day of the crime. In reality, the footage wasn't clear enough to definitively identify her, but the suggestion alone was enough to make Erica nervous. Under the mounting pressure, Erica cracked and confessed to the crime. She even led investigators to the location where she had disposed of the firearm used to kill Daniel. Prosecutors quickly built their case, arguing that Erica's motive was rooted in jealousy and a sense of being replaced by another woman. Adding to the evidence, police discovered a note in Erica's purse with Brenda's name and birth year, suggesting she had been monitoring Daniel's new girlfriend. The evidence against Erica was damning, but the trial wouldn't begin until October 1st, 2019, 5 years after Daniel's murder. Investigators revealed that in the days leading up to the crime, Erica had called Daniel nearly 170 times in an apparent attempt to reestablish contact with him. She had recently learned that Daniel had introduced their son Aiden to Brenda and that they had been spending time together. This news seemed to have been the breaking point for Erica. The prosecution also argued that after the crime, Erica had deleted several messages from Daniel's phone. These messages were her desperate attempts to convince Daniel that she would change and become a better person. However, Daniel's responses were clear. He had no intention of rekindling their relationship and was determined to move on with his life. During the trial, Erica's defense attorney painted a different picture. They argued that Erica was a victim of domestic aggression, claiming Daniel had been an abusive husband who subjected her to systematic mistreatment. To support their case, audio recordings of heated arguments were presented in court. In these recordings, Daniel could be heard insulting and threatening Erica. These tapes became a pivotal aspect of her defense, casting doubt on the nature of their tumultuous relationship and raising questions about who was truly at fault. The court heard Erica's testimony as she described years of alleged mistreatment and cruelty in her relationship with Daniel. She detailed instances in which she claimed Daniel physically assaulted her, grabbed her by the neck, and issued threats that left her in constant fear. Erica explained that she never reported these incidents to the police because she believed it would be futile. As a respected police officer, Daniel wielded significant influence, and Erica feared no one would believe her or take her allegations seriously. According to Erica, on February 5th, 2015, the day before the shooting, she had a phone conversation with Daniel that felt unusually positive. She claimed they had flirted, which gave her hope of reconciliation. Motivated by this glimmer of optimism, she decided to visit Daniel's house the following day, intending to explore the possibility of mending their relationship. When Erica entered Daniel's home on February 6th, she was immediately unsettled by the sight of 2 firearms lying on the table. Feeling uneasy, she began looking around the house. In one room, she found a partially open safe and decided to investigate further. Inside, she claimed to have found 2 intimate photographs of individuals she believed to be underage. This discovery shocked her and led her to question Daniel's character, especially in relation to their son, Aiden. Erica said this moment altered her perception of Daniel entirely, recalling how he had once made her wear school uniforms, which now struck her as part of a troubling pattern. As Erica returned the items to the safe, she heard the sound of Daniel's car pulling into the driveway. Panicking, she grabbed the 2 loaded firearms and hid in one of the rooms, unsure of what to do next. When Daniel entered the house, she claimed she heard him moving from room to room before heading to the bathroom. Overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty, Erica followed him, clutching the firearms tightly. Inside the bathroom, Erica claimed she found Daniel sitting on the toilet. He noticed her and, according to her, began shouting angrily, issuing threats. In a state of panic, she began firing the weapons. Erica testified that she didn't remember how many shots she fired, but continued until she felt the perceived threat was gone. Afterward, she fled the house, disposed of the weapons, and attempted to escape. Erica also revealed that despite the alleged mistreatment, she continued to engage in intimate relations with Daniel because she feared the repercussions of refusing him. She claimed that Daniel would become aggressive if his desires were unmet, and this dynamic left her feeling trapped. Erica said she stayed in the relationship out of fear for her safety and the potential consequences of defying him. Throughout her testimony, Erica maintained that her actions were driven by fear and desperation. However, her account faced intense scrutiny from both the prosecution and Daniel's friends and family, who painted a starkly different picture of their relationship and questioned the validity of her claims. The courtroom wrestled with 2 conflicting narratives, each casting doubt on the other. Erica's testimony about the photographs she claimed to have found in Daniel's safe was a critical moment in the trial. She explained that she had kept this detail to herself during the investigation because she did not trust the authorities, fearing they would side with her ex-husband. This claim shocked Daniel's family, who vehemently rejected her allegations. They couldn't believe that their son or brother, a respected police officer, could be involved in such behavior. Despite Erica's insistence, there was no evidence to support her accusation. The officers who searched Daniel's home found no prohibited photographs or material to validate her claims. The prosecution, focusing on the lack of evidence, contended that Erica's testimony was fabricated in an attempt to avoid facing the consequences of her actions. In contrast, Erica's defense attorney sought to tarnish Daniel's character. He highlighted the discovery of hundreds of intimate photos and videos involving adults on Daniel's phone and computer, insinuating that Daniel may have been hiding darker secrets. The attorney also pointed to the deletion of over 1,000 images from Daniel's phone years earlier as potential evidence of misconduct, though no clear connection to the crime was established. Throughout the trial, Erica expressed regret and remorse for what had happened. She apologized to Daniel's family, stating that she never intended for things to end so tragically. Her actions, she said, were driven by panic and fear, particularly for the safety of her son. Her defense attorney argued that the responsibility for Daniel's death did not rest solely on Erica's shoulders, but also on Daniel, suggesting that their deeply traumatic relationship had pushed both of them toward this devastating outcome. The defense painted a picture of a toxic and dysfunctional relationship in which both Erica and Daniel were trapped. They claimed that neither could escape the cycle of abuse and fear, leading to a tragic and inevitable ending. The jury deliberated for nearly 4 days, but they were unable to reach a unanimous decision, resulting in a mistrial. Erica's attorney saw this as a partial victory, as it allowed them the opportunity to revisit the case and develop a new defense strategy for the next trial. Despite the legal uncertainty, Erica was stripped of her parental rights, and Daniel's brother, Matthew Green, along with his wife, was granted custody of Aiden. The tragedy, which began as a relationship marked by jealousy and unresolved issues, now left Aiden without both of his biological parents. The case took another turn when a new trial was scheduled for 2020, but faced numerous delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The most recent hearing took place in December 2022, but a final verdict has yet to be reached. As Erica remains in custody awaiting her next trial, the weight of the case continues to haunt everyone involved. If convicted, she faces the death penalty. Both the prosecution and defense are preparing for what could be the decisive phase of this complex and emotional case. This story serves as a painful reminder of how unchecked jealousy, fear, and unresolved trauma can spiral out of control, leading to destructive outcomes. It underscores the importance of seeking help and the devastating consequences of staying in toxic, abusive relationships. Too many lives were lost, and far too many unspoken words were left behind. But amid the sorrow, there are those who continue to fight for a better future, particularly for Aiden, whose happiness and well-being are now the focus of those who care for him. This tragedy